throat.
Ew!
Every part of me went cold at the same time. I rolled onto my back, and I saw him. The person sitting on my bed, touching me a few moments back, was not my boyfriend.
Coolmanrare さんじゃない？ Thank you, ありがとう。
Alright guys, man, how you doing guys? It's your boy Coolmanrare back again with another video. What we're gonna be doing today guys is that we're gonna be reacting to some 3 scary videos, man, like spooky scary Sundays. Figured I should do something like what Corey Kenshin does because my boy Corey Kenshin, I love Corey Kenshin, I'm a big fan. Corey Kenshin, man, he has been posting and I feel like doing a series just like him as well and make it a regular thing so it could be a way for people to get views. I mean for people to watch my videos and whatnot, to expect stuff. But ready to watch, man, here we go. Alright man, so this first video guys, this first video scared me as one bruh. Okay guys, this first video, man, I watched this video before, you may have watched it as well, but this used to scare the shit out of me, bro. I was shivering every single time I saw this video. I remember when I was home alone, I was scared while watching this video, and I think Corey and RDC reacted to it, but here we go, bro. Sarah.
A girl heard her mom yell her name.
I wonder if this is still scary, bro.
So she got up and started to head down. As she got to the stairs, her mom pulled her into her room and said,
I heard it too.
Oh my god. Bro, what the heck? Well, it's not that scary, but it's like, damn.
Stay.
This sound used to traumatize me, man,
Stay
every single
and
time.
Don't make a sound.
Sarah! Literally, bro. She literally got sliced. She got fucking sliced. Man, you guys know the anime, man, when somebody gets cut and they do like the animation, they do like a sword do ching, and then bro, when they wait, it's like a slight delay and then the cut happens. That's sort of like what happened, bro. Sarah! Or imagine if that were you, man, if you were just in the fucking closet, and your mom just died, bro. Blood streaks down her throat. Of weeps and cries. Damn! Sold! Ew! Sarah sold! Ew! Why is she crying, bro? See, bro, this is what gets me wrong with the video, man. Like, why would you slap the monster? I know it's like some sort of defense mechanism, but you should never ever do that, man. I mean, by the looks of it, the monster wasn't gonna kill her, bro. Not just yet, at the very time. And actually, you know what? Maybe she was cooked either way. I don't really know, but bro, imagine just slapping a monster. And like the monster is obsessed with Sarah, the daughter. Maybe it's like a Caroline thing where it's like an alternate universe. Sarah sold her, man. Sarah fucking sold her. Ew! Yeah! Let's read. Well, he's standing for Sarah. Bro, the vertical effects carried, I gotta say. This is what made it so scary. Like, the sound effects just scared the living out of me, man. Crazy ass video. Used to scare me as a kid, I gotta say. Like, I would get traumatized over that video. It was like reliving childhood trauma. But it's not as scary as now, but yeah. Alright, next video, man, we're gonna be watching. This is straight up fresh. I've never watched anything like it before. 3 true Alone at Night horror stories animated. Here we go, man. Here we go.
I continue to recall that weekend as if it were a nightmare
animate them,
from which
guys.
I never fully awoke. I was 16 and living with my parents in a quiet neighborhood on the north side of Fort Collins, Colorado, the kind of
Like
place
South
where
Park.
everyone lives a boring life. My parents were taking my aunt down to Denver because she was pregnant and started having complications. They asked if I'd be fine alone for 2 days. I said yes right
Looks
away.
like Anna Man
I
from
didn't want to
Frozen.
admit it, but I was
Got
excited.
Anna from Frozen.
I was
up in you,
excited
man.
not only because I had the house to myself, but also due to some personal reasons. I was dating a guy named Rory, and we were
Talking stage.
He
Ew!
was handsome, pampered me a lot. We had been talking about finally
Yeah.
being alone together without parents around.
Yeah.
After my dad left that night, I called him. He
Oh.
whispered on the phone like we were doing something illegal, even though we weren't. He said he could come over at around midnight, after his parents went to sleep.
It's not freaky talk.
I told him the passcode.
But this is a setup. I'm telling you guys, I don't mean to, I'm not trying to be weird or anything, man, but this is literally the setup, guys. If you ever are in a horror movie, just know that never ever have sex. Never get freaky. Never get into that because you will be punished, bro. You're going to get punished. That's usually just how it goes.
Door so he wouldn't have to ring the bell.
Usually the
I asked him
MC
to come
isn't into
straight
that shit.
upstairs because I'd probably already be in bed. After we hung up, I felt nervous.
I watched
but
Halloween
in a good
and
way.
Scream.
My hands were actually shaking a little while I cleaned the kitchen and double-checked the locks. I locked every door. I checked every window. I turned off all the downstairs lights. Then I went to my room and lay in bed. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, my phone warm in my hand, replaying our conversation in my head and imagining how it would feel when he finally walked into my room. I kept smiling for no reason, then suddenly worrying for no reason
happy,
too.
man.
My heart wouldn't slow down. The house felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath. Every small sound stood out. The hum of the fridge downstairs, the tick of
I
the
know how that
clock,
feels, bro.
and the wind brushing the window.
Nighttime.
I wore a really cute blue night dress as a surprise for Rory, and I must have fallen asleep thinking so hard for an hour straight. At some point,
Wait, so what's going on? So she was texting Mr. Rory, pretty boy, man, and then she ended up falling asleep on the bed? What does that mean? Did she unlock the door so she could enter? So he could enter his room, her room? Bro, I'm getting fucked up. Like, my phrasing is getting bad. Bro,
I woke up.
that's gonna be the dumbest shit ever, bro. You can't surprise someone like that, man. Cause what if someone just comes out of nowhere? Ooh.
I didn't know why at first, but somehow I felt I wasn't alone in the house. With sleepy eyes, I scanned the room, and there was no one other than me. I went back to falling asleep when I heard a slow creak of my bedroom door opening. I remember smiling into my pillow and then turning to the other side to hide my excitement.
Yo, bro.
I called out to Rory,
Ew.
telling him to come in. I also asked him what took him
Yo.
so long, but he didn't answer right away. He walked up to my bed and then slowly brushed his fingers all over my arm. It tickled.
Yo, that's so
I
him.
told him to lie down under the covers with me, but he just sat down on the bed. I felt the bed dip slightly with its weight. Up until now, he didn't say a single word, so I got a bit annoyed and told him to lie down and stop being weird. He still didn't say anything. That should have been my first real warning.
I mean,
But
some
when you're
pause real
half
quick.
asleep, your brain fills in the blanks the way it wants to. I reached my hand back without looking, trying to find his arm so I could pull him closer. What I touched was not what I expected. The arm wasn't smooth or familiar. It was thick, extremely hairy, and quite muscular for a teenage boy.
Catfish.
Yeah, gross.
Ew.
Every part of me went cold at the same time. I rolled onto my back, and I saw him. The person sitting on my bed, touching me a few moments back, was not my boyfriend. He was older, much older. His face was long.
Oh, Matt Jenkins. Who is that, man? Bro, we got Professor X. Bro, we got Professor X, Mr. Marvel, Blackest Night version.
His eyes
Ew.
were wide in a way that didn't look right. He was sitting inches from me, grinning like he had waited for
Professor
this
Six.
opportunity for so long. I screamed. He flinched back and
That's
raised
Rory,
his
right?
hands.
That's Rory, right? No, no, no,
Don't
no.
scream. I just came to watch you sleep.
Oh, hell no! Oh my god! Mr. Paulson? Is that you?
Realizing that a
Your
man
teacher?
of my father's age and our neighbor, Mr. Paulson, who watched me grow up right in front of his eyes.
Oh, that's creepy,
disgusting,
man.
I began screaming louder.
Yo, that's
Started
creepy.
panicking.
That's the
It
neighbor?
seemed that what he had done was enough to put him behind bars. He stood up, clearly trying to leave. That's when my bedroom door opened again. I saw Rory. He had his phone in his hand like he was about to text me, probably wondering why I wasn't answering. Mr. Paulson tried to rush past him. Rory
Mr.
stepped
Paulson,
in
man,
front
what
of
type
him
of fit
without
is
thinking.
that?
The creep punched him in the face.
Damn!
Crack, and Rory went down hard. He shoved past Rory and ran down the stairs and out the front door.
How?
I ran to Rory, shaking so
How did
bad
you let an
I
old
could
man
barely hold my
punch
phone
you,
when I
bro?
called 911.
Hold on a sec. That's not realistic at all. I'm gonna butt in right now and say that. How? Yo, flashbacks. This dude he has muscles, okay? He goes to the gym, he lifts weights, and he's kind of fit. Right? How the hell did he just get punched just like that? He has no awareness whatsoever, man. He kind of just stared at the freaking situation. He was like, oh, what's going on?
Boy, if you don't get
One. The police came, and Rory was
Let's
taken
say
to the
Rory might
hospital.
be the dumbest
My
MF
dad
ever.
was informed too. Rory stayed in the hospital
didn't even
for
do
4
anything,
days
man.
with a broken nose.
I thought you were a knight in shining
I
armor.
didn't sleep at all that night. My dad filed a report against our neighbor. A few days later, the police arrested him. He confessed to watching me for days. Mr. Paulson heard me on the phone with Rory while standing outside our kitchen window. That's
Yo,
how
man.
he learned the passcode and eventually got in, knowing I would be alone.
Why does he look like that?
I suffer from major trust issues now, because I've known Mr. Paulson since I was a
me
kid.
see Mr.
He
Paulson.
waved at me many times. I never thought a quiet person like him would do something like that. It still scares me to think how things
gotta
could
say,
have gone way worse.
I don't know why it's always
I
the
hadn't
quiet ones I
screamed for
consider
help that
creepy.
night.
I was kind of a quiet kid back in school. I don't think I was creepy. At least, well, I tried not to be. Hey, bro. That was a crazy ass horror story, but it feels like it wasn't realistic at all. The writing, man, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like her match would have just stood in and like stepped in. You know what I mean?
2
Imagine
years
just
ago,
like,
something
I don't know,
watched
why
me
would
from
you
a
just
third
let that
floor
slide?
balcony, and if I hadn't noticed it, my neighbor would have died that night. I was living alone in a quiet, aging apartment building on the east side of Bellingham, Washington. The building was old enough that the pipes knocked at night, and the hallway lights flickered, but nothing bad ever happened there.
So we in a
That was
hotel.
the reason I liked it. Nothing ever happened. That night, just before midnight, I walked to the corner store to buy cigarettes. The streets were empty. When I came back, I stood outside the front door of my building and dug through my pockets for my keys. That was when I felt like someone was watching me. It was not a strong feeling. It was just enough to make me stop moving. I looked around and saw no one. I even tried to listen for footsteps in case a creep followed me home, but again, I heard nothing.
But that's human instinct.
Suddenly, I looked up. I can't explain why. I just did.
Well,
At
you guys
first,
don't see
my
it, but
eyes
look at
kept
this.
moving all over the building. Then I noticed the
What
third
the
floor,
hell?
the balcony outside Mr. Newton's apartment. I saw a woman there. She is standing still and looking down at me. She was not leaning on the railing. She was just standing there. She wore a
Menacingly.
white bathrobe that moved slightly in the wind. The robe looked too thin for the cold night air. Her long hair was loose and blowing across her face.
Why does she look
The pale
blue?
moonlight made her skin look washed out and wrong, like the light was draining the color from her. Her face had this weird smile that made me feel uneasy. It was as she could
I'm
see
never
through
stepping
me.
in that
I felt
hotel, man.
awkward, like I had caught someone watching me through a window. So I raised my hand and gave a small wave. She waved back. Her hand moved slowly, almost carefully. It seemed for a second that she was
seems
calling
nice.
to her. I got
Oh,
goosebumps
W
behind
Riz.
my neck.
Oh.
Then she turned and walked back inside the apartment. I stood there for a few seconds longer than I should have. Something about the way she moved felt off. I kept thinking in my head that it must be Mr. Newton's wife waking up in
Who the hell
mid-nap
is
to get
that?
some fresh air on the balcony. Deciding not to overthink this interaction with Mrs. Newton, I unlocked the door and went inside. As soon as the door closed behind me, a thought hit me hard enough to make me stop walking. Mr. Newton's wife had died. She had passed away only a few weeks earlier after a long illness. I remembered the funeral flowers.
That's her, man.
I remembered the quiet way Mr. Newton said thank you when people offered condolences. I remember that he lived alone now. If there was a woman inside that
Who is
apartment,
that?
she was not supposed to be there.
That's a ghost.
Cold shivers ran down my spine. I began climbing the stairs. Each step felt louder than usual. By the time I reached
That's
the third
literally a
floor,
ghost.
my heart was beating faster than it should have been. Mr. Newton's door was slightly open. That alone was strange. He was careful about locking his door. He was the type of man who double-checked his locks. I pushed the door open. Mr. Newton? There was no answer. The apartment was dark. I could smell something metallic in the air, but I could not tell what it was at first. I stepped inside. The light from the hallway fell across the kitchen floor. That was when I saw the broken glass. It was scattered across the tiles near the counter. I saw a dark smear on the floor that led from the bathroom toward the bedroom. My stomach tightened. I walked slowly into the bathroom. The sink was filled with bloody cotton pads. Someone had been trying to stop a wound from bleeding. The mirror had a bloody handprint smeared across it. There were drops of blood
Bloody Mary,
on the
yeah.
floor. I pulled out my phone and called 911. My hands were shaking. While I was speaking to the operator, I heard a sound from the bedroom. It sounded muffled, like someone was trying to breathe through something thick. I walked toward the bedroom. The floor felt unsteady.
Whoa! What the hell is
The
that?
bed were ripped open.
What the hell is that? Yeah! Ew! What am I looking at right now? Is that like feathers? Looks like something else. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
Room like
Hey.
snow. I was scanning the room, trying to figure out which direction the sound came from, and suddenly, the closet door slammed open, and Mr. Newton rolled out onto the floor. His hands and feet were tied. His face was bruised and bleeding. His eyes were wide in terror, but he was alive. I ran to him.
So he's getting held hostage in his hotel.
I freed him from the restraints and made him sit down, offering water so he could breathe properly. The police arrived quickly. They took him to the hospital. Later, he told them that 2 men had broken in and tried to rob him. He said he stabbed one of them in self-defense, but they overpowered him, tied him up, and locked him in the closet before leaving. When I asked him
So what
about
does
the
that have
woman
to
on
do
the
with the
balcony,
woman?
thinking she must be an accomplice of those robbers, Mr. Newton gave me a confused look. There was no woman. His voice was calm. His eyes were not. I stopped asking questions after that. A few days later, I saw
Bro, this
Mr.
dude,
Newton
Mr.
moving.
Newman looks so
I watched
traumatized,
my
man.
window as he loaded boxes into his car.
Can't even pause the
I
video,
noticed
bro.
him holding a white bathrobe. It looked exactly
That's the
like
same
the
one.
woman had been wearing that night on the balcony. I went outside. Is that yours, Mr. Newton? No, it belonged to my wife. But why are you asking? I don't recall what I said in reply. Whatever that woman was, it wasn't there to scare me. It was there because if I hadn't looked up that night, Mr. Newton wouldn't be alive.
Yo. Okay, so basically, the girl was actually chill the whole time. She was coming from the afterlife to save her husband. Wow. What the heck? Man, you guys need to get you somebody that's like that. I'm telling you, by the time you see this video, it's probably going to be before Valentine's Day. You guys have to find the right one. I'm telling you. Me, I haven't found the right one. I'm not really sure yet.
Died this morning. He was old. His fur had
But
turned
hey,
gray around his
just
eyes.
give it some time,
His legs
man.
had started to shake when he walked.
Make sure to check out my Coolmanrare vlog. If you guys want to check out my love life, if you guys want to check, I don't really have a love life if that's what you're wondering. Check out my life, what goes on throughout the week, man. How to piss a video.
The veterinarian said
Yes.
that it was peaceful and that Ranger
Second
went
story,
to sleep. I nodded, thanked him, and held Ranger's collar in my hands the whole drive home. I didn't cry right away. I only cried when I sat on my bed and realized that the house felt too quiet again. It felt the same way it did that night. I was 9 years
crying?
old and living with my parents in a small house
Oh,
on the edge
okay.
of Bozeman, Montana, where the streets are dark at night and the wind always sounds like something is moving through the trees. My parents were out for a business dinner. They told me that they would be gone for a few hours or possibly overnight. They told me to lock the doors and keep Ranger inside. Ranger was a German Shepherd with a blocky head and a chest
My parents
like
would
a
have
barrel.
never let me like
He
that,
slept
though.
at the foot of my bed every night. That night, I
My
remember
parents
feeling proud
need
be
like
home
somebody
alone.
to
I
supervise
also
me and
remember
my
feeling
sister
uneasy
when I
about
was
it a few
little.
moments later.
I had to go to my
The
cousin's
house
house.
sounded louder than usual.
I'm probably gonna do the same thing
refrigerator
when I get a
humming,
kid.
The pipes knocked. The
do
trees
y'all think,
scraped
man?
against the siding when the wind picked up. Ranger kept lifting his head and listening. I tried to play video games, but I kept pausing the screen so I could listen to the house. Everything was all right until I heard the back door. The sound was not loud, and it was not a bang. It was the soft sound of the latch being moved. I told myself that it was the wind, but seconds later, I could hear footsteps in the kitchen. They were slow and careful. They did not sound like my parents. Ranger stood up. He did not bark, and he did not run. He growled in a low and steady way. I felt my stomach drop. A shadow
Okay, so
slid
that's
under
bad
my
news.
bedroom door. Someone stopped outside my room. I did not breathe. The door creaked open. With terrified eyes,
Yo, man.
I noticed a man standing
Yo, man, who was that? Ew. Why is his teeth like that, bro? That kind of looks like Voldemort from Harry Potter.
outside my room. He was tall.
Voldemort's
He wore a dark
long-lost cousin.
jacket. His face was half hidden by the hallway light. I could feel his eyes on me and guessed he was smiling too. He quickly walked inside and grabbed my arm, yelling, "You're coming with me, kid!" I screamed as he pulled me out of bed and dragged me toward the hallway.
Bro,
My
I'm
feet
going so
scraped
hard that
across
my
the carpet.
ear like
I could not catch
moved
my
or something.
breath.
I don't know.
I remember thinking very clearly that I was not going to see my parents again. I was crying when he dragged me out like he was
Some
planning
reason
to
it's-
take me
I'm not
far
really
away
scared of
from
this one.
world. My feet dropped down the stairs as he continued. Just when I thought I
Can't
had no
take it
chance
seriously,
of surviving
bro.
against this guy, I saw Ranger storming
Yes!
down the stairs
Yes!
like a hound. Without wasting a single second, Ranger attacked
Finally,
him.
the dog
He
did
ran at the
something,
man with
man.
full force, his teeth clamped onto the man's arm. The man screamed and tried to shake him off. "Ah, stupid dog!" But Ranger did not let go. The man continued
beat his
struggling
ass.
with him. The more he tried to get rid
You
of
gotta
him,
punch his
the more
groin, bro.
Ranger tightened his jaw. At one point,
You
I
gotta
thought
punch
Ranger
his
would
groin.
overpower him, but all of a sudden, the man lifted Ranger with his other arm and threw him out the open back door.
Damn!
I was a kid, so it didn't hit me that Ranger too was merely a young pup. I heard Ranger hit the concrete
Oh.
outside. He cried out once in pain and then went silent.
Damn!
I took the opportunity and started screaming with all my strength. We lived in a close neighborhood, and my screams were heard. And one by one, all the porch lights of the neighboring houses started turning on. The man froze.
Puppy got
I
hurt,
didn't
bro.
expect things to go this way. The
Puppy
neighbor
got hurt.
shouted something.
I would've
The man
crashed out
didn't
too.
wait anymore. He left immediately. I watched him vanishing into the night. I ran and broke down, crying next to Ranger. He was lying on his side. He was breathing, but it was shallow and fast.
W Ranger, man.
I held his head and cried into his fur, while my neighbors informed the cops and my parents. The cops came, and Ranger was taken to the emergency veterinarian in town. Thankfully, he survived. His rib was broken, though. He came home
Damn.
with bandages, medication, and a plastic cone around his head. He slept in
Wait. His rib, right?
my room for
Why is his
a month.
Why does he have like a curve in his thing?
After that, he followed me everywhere and never left my side again. The cops suspected it was a kidnapping attempt, from which Ranger saved me. The man was never caught, and I couldn't remember his face clearly enough to guide the investigation well. But I never stopped checking the logs after that night. This happened 20 years ago. Ranger stayed with me through middle school, high school, college, my first job, and my first apartment.
Damn.
He was there when I moved back to Bozeman. He was there when my parents sold the house. He even attended my wedding as my best man. And finally,
like 40
this
now.
morning, he took his last breath. I knelt on the floor and held his head just like I did when I was 9 years old.
I didn't know it was gonna get this
I
sad,
thanked him
man.
for this life that he gave me. I told him that I loved him. He was a great friend. Dogs may not understand words, but he understood my voice. I believe
You know what they say, bro.
I like to believe that he's still watching somewhere.
You know what they say, man.
Still standing between me and whatever darkness.
Why is it sad, bro?
I hope that in another life I get
Sad for no reason.
so I could spend my whole life protecting him the way he protected me. Goodbye, Ranger. Thank you for choosing me.
Why was that sad for no reason, man? I wasn't even a horror movie anymore, man. It wasn't even a horror story. It was just, it turned horror and then the sad, man. Heroic ass story. But I gotta say, guys, I think this might be it for the video, bro. I mean, it was kind of a roller coaster. I gotta say that most of them weren't as scary as I expected it to be. Maybe it's because I'm grown up and stuff. If I was a kid, I'd probably be more scared of it. But it's just, I don't know, it just feels like it's whatever, you know. But it's still engaging to see, I guess, what happens. Anyways, man, I'm about to head up on out of you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share if you guys are new. About to do this like every Sunday or Monday, depending on where you are. But in Australia, it's Sunday. About to head up on out of you, man. Peace.